Jalen Brooks stands in Chicago's O'Hare Airport, a faded hoodie cloaking his billionaire status, watching security haul away a trembling flight attendant who shredded his first-class ticket, blind to the fact he owns Apex Airlines. Her smug "you don't belong" ignited a firestorm, turning a routine check into a viral reckoning. The crowd buzzes, phones blazing, but Jalen's calm hides a brewing tempest. This clash will ripple far beyond today, reshaping his empire and soul. What unleashed this chaos? Before we dive in, tell us where you're watching from, and if you stand for justice, hit like and subscribe for more epic showdowns. Jalen Brooks weaves through the pulsing chaos of O'Hare International Airport on a crisp October morning, the air thick with the scent of burnt coffee and jet fuel, his sneakers scuffing the polished tiles as he pulls a sleek black carry-on. Behind him, its wheels humming a soft tune against the floor. At 42, he's a black man who's clawed his way to the top, a billionaire cloaked in a faded gray hoodie and worn jeans, his broad shoulders relaxed under a threadbare jacket, the kind you'd see on a college kid, not the owner of Apex Airlines, a multi-billion-dollar empire he built from nothing over 2 decades of grit and late nights. Today, he's not here as the boss, not flashing his tailored suits or flashing a platinum watch, but as an undercover passenger, testing the gears of his own machine, wanting to feel the raw pulse of the customer experience, the one he's fought to perfect since he was a kid, watching planes roar over his crumbling Southside neighborhood, dreaming of wings he'd one day command. The terminal buzzes around him, a symphony of hurried voices crackling over the intercom, calling out gate changes in a robotic drawl, while travelers dart past, their rolling suitcases clattering like a stampede, some in rumpled business attire, clutching briefcases, others in flip-flops hauling overstuffed backpacks, all racing to their flights under the glare of fluorescent lights that cast long, flickering shadows across the walls. Jalen's seen it all before, mastered it from boardrooms and private jets, but now he's just another face in the crowd. Or so he thinks, his sharp brown eyes scanning the space, taking in the rhythm of it all, the way the check-in lines snake around velvet ropes, the way the staff in their crisp navy blazers move with practiced efficiency, or at least most of them do. He adjusts the brim of his baseball cap, tugging it low over his forehead, not to hide his identity but to blend into the shuffle, his breath steady, his mind sharp, ready to board flight Apex 742 to Los Angeles, a route he knows, like the back of his hand, one he's flown himself in the pilot's seat back when he was proving he could run this game better than anyone. His first-class ticket sits snug in his pocket, a simple slip of paper printed from his home office that morning. No fancy barcode, just the basics. Because he doesn't need the flash, doesn't want it. Not today when he's here to see the truth, to test if his airline still lives up to the promise he carved into its bones. Service above all, no exceptions. He steps up to the first-class counter, a sleek slab of glass and steel tucked off to the side, away from the economy scrum where a toddler's wail pierces the air, and a guy in a stained polo argues over baggage fees, the kind of mess Jalen's worked to streamline since he bought Apex out of bankruptcy 15 years ago, with a loan that nearly broke him and a vision that wouldn't quit. The counter's quiet, almost serene. A lone woman ahead of him tapping her foot in glossy heels, her auburn hair pulled tight into a bun, a cream trench coat draped over her arm like she's stepping out of a magazine spread, her vibe screaming, old money, the kind Apex courts with its plush seats and free champagne. The flight attendant behind the desk, a blonde with a pinched face and a name tag reading Vanessa Reed, flashes a smile so bright it could light a runway, her teeth gleaming under the overhead glow as she coos. "Welcome, Mrs. Langley. Enjoy your flight," handing over a boarding pass with a flourish, her manicured nails catching the light like tiny blades, her voice syrupy sweet, the kind of tone Jalen's heard 1,000 times from staff trained to pamper the elite. The woman barely nods, gliding off toward security without a word, her heels clicking a sharp staccato that fades into the din, leaving Jalen next in line, his turn to see if the system he built still ticks the way he demands. He steps forward, broad frame filling the space, offering a polite smile, the kind that's disarming, warm, practiced from years of shaking hands with CEOs and senators, and says, "Good afternoon." His voice low, steady, carrying just enough weight to signal he's not here to waste time. Vanessa's face shifts in an instant, like someone flipped a breaker. the warmth draining from her eyes, her lips pressing into a thin, tight line as she barely flicks her gaze over him, her posture stiffening, shoulders squaring like she's bracing for a fight she's already decided she'll win. She doesn't return his greeting, doesn't even pretend to play nice, just juts her chin toward the far end of the terminal and snaps, "Economy check-ins that way." Her tone flat, clipped, dripping with dismissal, like he's a stray who wandered into the wrong yard. Jalen doesn't flinch, doesn't let his smile falter, though a familiar heat prickles under his skin, the kind he's felt too many times growing up in a city where his face alone was enough to get doors slammed shut. But he's not that kid anymore, not here, not now. He tilts his head, studying her, the way her blonde bangs frame a forehead creased with impatience, the way her blue eyes narrow like she's already sized him up and found him wanting, and says, "I'm flying first class." His words calm, measured, handing over the ticket with a steady hand, expecting her to scan it, process it, move on like she's paid to do. That gets her attention, but not the way he hopes, her skepticism flashing like a neon sign as she lets out a huff, a sharp little sound that says he's wasting her precious time, and snatches the ticket from his fingers, her grip rough, possessive, like she's claiming it just to toss it away. She holds it up, squinting at the print, her lips curling into a sneer. No greeting, no sir, no trace of the polish she gave Mrs. Langley, just pure, unfiltered attitude, the kind Jalen's seen too often, the kind that says he doesn't fit the picture she's painted of who belongs in her pristine first-class world. He's not new to this game, not blindsided by the quick assumptions, the unspoken "you don't belong here" that's followed him from corner stores to corporate suites. But he's here to test Apex, not to fight her, not yet. So he stands, firm, waiting, watching her next move, his pulse steady but his mind racing, cataloging every detail, every slight, because this is his airline, his rules, and she's about to break them all. Vanessa scans the ticket with a flick of her wrist, her eyes barely brushing the scanner's beep, and then, without a shred of hesitation, she grips it in both hands and rips it clean in half, the sound a sharp tear slicing through the terminals. The pieces fluttering to the counter like dead leaves. Jalen blinks, a jolt of disbelief cutting through his calm, his breath catching as she tosses the shredded paper into a trash bin under the desk, her movements casual, deliberate, like she's discarding junk mail, not a ticket worth hundreds of dollars, not a pass. He printed himself that morning from a printer he owns in a house he paid for with blood and sweat. "Excuse me," he says, voice low, edged with a steel he rarely lets slip, his hands flexing at his sides as he tries to process what just happened, because this isn't a mix-up, not a glitch. This is a choice, a bold, stupid choice she's made without blinking. She doesn't flinch, doesn't back off, just folds her arms over her chest, standing taller now, her 5'6" frame puffing up like she's the queen of this tiny kingdom, and says, "This must be a mistake," her tone bored, flat, like she's explaining something obvious to a child. "We don't let economy passengers sneak into first class." Jalen stares at her, the words sinking in, the absurdity of it twisting in his gut, because she didn't just misread the ticket, didn't just make an honest error, she chose to destroy it, chose to erase him from her space, her smug little power play laid bare in front of a terminal full of eyes that are starting to turn, starting to notice. He inhales slow, deep, forcing his shoulders to stay loose, his voice dropping to a dangerous calm as he says, "I'm sorry. What did you just do?" And she smirks, a quick flash of teeth, like she's enjoying this, like she's waited all day for a chance to flex her control, and snaps back, "I tore up your fake ticket, now move along before I call security." The air shifts, conversations around them slowing, footsteps hesitating, heads tilting as travelers catch the edge in her voice, the confrontation blooming into something bigger, something public, something Jalen didn't plan but can't avoid. Now, he's dealt with ignorance before, shrugged off the sideways glances, the muttered slurs, but this is a line crossed, a gauntlet thrown, and she has no idea who she's just challenged, no clue that the man she's trying to erase owns every seat on that plane, every inch of this airline, and she's about to light a match she can't put out. Vanessa waves a hand, her nails glinting as she signals across the terminal, her voice cutting sharp and high. "Security, we've got a problem here." and Jalen feels the weight of it all crash down, the tension spiking, the crowd thickening. Because this isn't just a torn ticket anymore. It's a war she started and he's not backing down. Jalen Brooks stands rooted to the slick tile of O'Hare's first-class check-in, the torn halves of his ticket still crumpled in Vanessa Reed's trash bin, their jagged edges a silent taunt as the terminal's hum morphs into a low electric buzz. Travelers craning their necks, some clutching coffee cups gone cold, others pausing mid-stride, their rolling bags stilled as her sharp "security" echoes off the glass walls, a call that slices through the morning clamor like a blade. Through silk, his chest tightens, not from fear but from a fury he's learned to cage, the kind that simmered since he was a 12-year-old kid stopped by cops for biking in a nice neighborhood, a fury he's honed into power, into Apex Airlines, into the life he's built brick by brick. But now, under Vanessa's smug glare, it's clawing to break free. He doesn't budge, doesn't let his broad frame shrink, just locks his brown eyes on her, her blonde hair catching the light as she smirks, arms crossed tight over her navy blazer, her posture screaming victory, like she's already won this little game she's spun out of thin air. Around them, the crowd thickens, a woman in a red scarf whispering to her husband, a guy in a Cubs jersey tapping his phone, probably recording, the air growing heavy with anticipation, with the unspoken question, what's this black guy in a hoodie done to deserve this? Jalen inhales slow, steady, forcing the heat in his veins to cool, because he knows losing it now means losing everything he's come here to test. So he keeps his voice low, smooth as asphalt, and says, "You just ripped up a valid ticket. I'd like to know why." His words a challenge wrapped in calm, a lifeline he's tossing her to back off before this explodes. Vanessa doesn't bite, doesn't flinch, just juts her chin higher, her blue eyes narrowing as she snaps, "I don't explain myself to frauds." And the word lands like a slap, sharp, deliberate, stripping him down to a stereotype she's already pinned on him. No evidence, no doubt, just her certainty that he doesn't belong in her pristine first-class lane. He feels it, that old sting, the one he swallowed 1,000 times, but this isn't a corner store or a back alley. This is his airline, his turf, and she's got no clue she's poking a lion with a stick. Before he can counter, to security. Guards push through the gawkers, their boots thudding heavy on the floor, radios crackling static as they close in. One a wiry guy with a buzz cut, the other thicker, his gut straining his uniform, both with that stiff, no-nonsense stride that says they've already picked a side. Jalen doesn't wait for their questions, doesn't give Vanessa the satisfaction of watching him squirm, just pulls his phone from his pocket, the sleek black device cool against his palm, and says, "Check this." His tone still even, unshaken, as he taps the screen with a thumb, pulling up the Apex Airlines executive app, a digital key only a handful of people on the planet can unlock, its interface glowing with his name, his title, his proof. He holds it out, the screen's light catching the guard's eyes, the wiry one leaning in, his brows knitting as he reads, "Jalen Brooks, owner and CEO." The words bold, undeniable, a truth Vanessa's too busy preening to see. The guard blinks, hesitates, his hand hovering over his radio, a flicker of doubt cracking his stony facade. And for a split second, Jalen thinks it's enough, thinks he's turned this around, that the app's weight will pull the brakes on this runaway train. Vanessa scoffs, loud and brittle, cutting through the guard's pause like a shard of glass. "Photoshopped, obviously," she says, rolling her eyes so hard they might stick, her voice dripping with disdain as she shoves past the wiry guard, her shoulder brushing his arm, signaling over their heads to someone else, her blonde ponytail bouncing with every step like she's directing a play she's already scripted. Jalen's jaw tightens, his fingers curling around the phone, because this isn't just ignorance now, it's defiance, a refusal to see what's right in front of her, and he wonders, how many others has she dismissed like this? How many tickets has she torn? How many lives has she shrugged off with that same smirk? The wiry guard steps back uncertain, but the thicker one mutters into his radio, and Jalen catches the tail end. "Supervisor now." A lifeline he didn't ask for, but welcomes, because this is spiraling and he's still got the upper hand, still got the truth glowing in his grip. He thinks he's won, thinks the app's pulled him out of the quicksand, that Vanessa's bluff is about to collapse under its own weight, when a new shadow looms. heavy boots stomping closer, a third figure cutting through the crowd. Taller, broader, his navy uniform crisp, badge gleaming under the lights. A cop, not a rent-a-guard. His face a slab of granite carved with a scowl. His name tag reading, Officer Hargrove. The air shifts again, colder, sharper, as Hargrove storms in, his buzzed head glinting, his pale eyes locking on Jalen with a flicker of something dark, something Jalen's seen too often growing up, a look that doesn't ask questions, just assumes guilt. "What's the problem?" Hargrove growls, voice rough as gravel, planting himself between Jalen and Vanessa, his bulk a wall, his hand resting on his belt, inches from cuffs that glint like a threat. Jalen holds up the phone again, steady, calm. "This proves I'm first class, check it." But Hargrove doesn't even glance at the screen, doesn't care, just snorts, "Put that away." His tone thick with contempt, like Jalen's a kid flashing a toy badge. Vanessa jumps in, her voice bright, eager. He's causing a scene, tried to scam his way in. And Jalen feels the lie twist the air, feels the crowd's eyes sharpen, some nodding like they've already bought her story. Hargrove's lip curls, a sneer breaking through, and he steps closer. Close enough Jalen smells the stale coffee on his breath and mutters, "Stay in your place, boy." The words low, venomous, a punch that lands harder than any fist, because it's not just an insult, it's a verdict. A sentence passed before Jalen can even defend himself. The cop's hand shoots out, snagging Jalen's wrist, twisting it back, the phone clattering to the counter as cold steel snaps around his wrists, cuffs biting into his skin, and Jalen's yanked around, shoved toward a side hall, the crowd, gasping, phones rising higher, filming every second as Hargrove drags him off, his boots pounding a rhythm of control. Jalen's mind races, his victory evaporating. Because this isn't about a ticket anymore. It's about power, about a system that doesn't care what he's built, doesn't see the empire behind the hoodie, just a black man to put down. Vanessa smirks wider, triumphant, thinking she's erased him. But Jalen's calm doesn't break, not fully, because he knows this isn't the end, knows he's got moves left, even as the cuffs dig deeper, even as Hargrove's growl echoes in his ears, even as the terminal blurs into a tunnel of shame he didn't earn. "Hey, what do you think? Should Vanessa face the heat for this bold-faced lie? Drop a comment number 1 if you say yes, or a 2 if you think she'll wiggle out of it, and smash that like button if Jalen's cool-headed fights. Got you hooked? Then subscribe so you don't miss how he flips this mess upside down." Was it the app that should have saved him, or did Hargrove just prove the system's stacked no matter what proof he's got? Stick around. Will Jalen's next play break him free or sink him deeper into this racist trap? Jalen Brooks stumbles into a dank holding cell beneath O'Hare's gleaming terminal, the clang of the steel door slamming shut behind him reverberating off the chipped concrete walls, a sound that lands like a gavel in the dim, flickering light of a single bulb dangling from the ceiling, its weak glow casting jagged shadows across the graffiti-scratched bench where he's shoved down, his wrists still raw from Officer Hargrove's cuffs, the metal biting into his skin like a reminder of where he stands in this moment, not as the billionaire owner of Apex Airlines, but as a black man caught in a trap he didn't see coming. The air down here reeks of mildew and sweat, a stale thickness that clogs his throat as he steadies his breathing, his broad shoulders hunching slightly under the faded hoodie, the fabric damp from the scuffle, his sharp mind already spinning, piecing together the last 10 minutes, Vanessa's smirk, Hargrove's sneer, the phone ripped from his hand and tossed into an evidence bag like it's trash instead of proof. Proof he owns every plane roaring overhead, every gate buzzing above. This concrete tomb. Hargrove looms in the doorway, his thick frame filling the space, his uniform stretched tight over a barrel chest, his pale eyes glinting with a cold, quiet malice as he pulls a small plastic baggie from his pocket, its contents a powdery white lie, and dangles it between meaty fingers, a predator toying with prey, before he steps closer, his boots scuffing the grimy floor, and mutters, "No fancy app saves you now." His voice a low rumble, thick with satisfaction as he unzips Jalen's carry-on, the sleek leather bag he'd rolled through the terminal just an hour ago, and tucks the baggie inside, planting it with the casual ease of a man who's done this before, who knows the game, who's played it on others like Jalen too many times to count. Jalen's stomach twists, a surge of nausea rising as he watches the cop zip the bag shut, the click of the teeth sealing a frame up so blatant it's almost laughable. But there's no humor here, only a fury he clamps down tight, because he's seen this script, lived it in fragments growing up. The traffic stops that turned into searches, the store clerks trailing him aisle by aisle. But never like this. Never with his empire on the line. Never with a cop this bold. This sure he'll walk away clean. Hargrove smirks, a crooked slash of teeth, and leans in, his breath hot with coffee and spite as he growls. "You think you're special, huh? Down here you're just another thug," the words spitting out like venom. A label Jalen's fought his whole life to shred. A lie this cop's betting will stick because of the skin he's in, because of the hoodie, because of the ticket Vanessa tore to pieces upstairs. A chain of racism linking her smug dismissal to this dank cell. Jalen doesn't flinch, doesn't give Hargrove the reaction he's fishing for, just locks eyes with him, steady, unyielding, and says, "You're making a mistake." His voice low, calm, a warning wrapped in steel, because he's not broken, not yet, not even close. His mind already racing for a way out, a crack in this setup he can pry open. Hargrove snorts, stepping back, his hand brushing his baton as he mutters, "We'll see," and slams the door again, the bolt locking with a thud that echoes in Jalen's bones, leaving him alone in the cell, the bulb flickering like a heartbeat, the walls pressing in as he sits, his hands flexing against the cuffs, his pulse steady, but his thoughts a storm, because he's got one move left, one lifeline in a system rigged to bury him. He spots a payphone bolted to the corner, its scratched surface glinting under the light, a relic he didn't expect but seizes, hauling himself up, the cuffs clinking as he shuffles over, fishing a quarter from his pocket with numb fingers, the coin cold against his skin as he slots it in, the dial tone buzzing like a lifeline in his ear. He punches in a number he knows by heart, his lawyer, Marcus Tate, a wiry ex-prosecutor who's pulled him out of boardroom battles and contract wars, a man who'll see this for what it is, a setup born of hate, not law. And the line crackles as Marcus picks up, his voice sharp. "Jalen, what's wrong?" Jalen keeps it tight. O'Hare, holding cell, framed with drugs, cop named Hargrove. "Get here now." And Marcus doesn't hesitate, doesn't question, just says, "On it." The call cutting off as Jalen hangs up, the receiver clattering, back into place, his breath fogging in the chill as he sinks onto the bench, thinking he's got this, thinking Marcus will shred this lie, thinking he's outmaneuvered them again. Time drags, minutes bleeding into an hour, the cell's silence broken only by the drip of a leaky pipe somewhere in the dark, until footsteps thud closer, not Hargrove's heavy stomp but lighter, quicker, and the door swings open, Marcus striding. In, his gray suit crisp, his bald head gleaming under the bulb, a stack of papers in hand, his dark eyes flashing with a fury that mirrors Jalen's own. Behind him, a supervisor in an Apex blazer, a nervous guy with thinning hair and a clipboard, fidgets as Marcus barks, "Release him now, we've got footage." And Jalen's chest loosens, because he knows what's coming, knows the crowd. Upstairs didn't just watch, they recorded, their phones catching Vanessa's tear, Hargrove's cuffs, every second of this racist spiral now blasting across X and YouTube. Hashtags like Sark's Apex Justice trending as strangers turn witnesses. There, shaky clips showing the app, the cuffs, the truth. The supervisor nods, frantic, unlocking the cuffs with trembling hands, muttering, "Misunderstanding, sir," as Jalen stands, rubbing his wrists, the red marks a badge of this fight, and Marcus slams a phone into his palm. The screen alive, with videos, comments raging, "This is bullshit. Fire her. Cops too." A tidal wave of support Jalen didn't ask for but takes, because it's his ticket out. Hargrove reappears, hovering at the door, his smirk gone, his face pale as the supervisor snaps, "Back off." And Jalen walks free. The cell's stink fading as he climbs the stairs, Marcus at his side, the terminal's noise rushing back, travelers parting like a sea, some cheering, others filming. A hero's exit he didn't plan but owns, thinking he's dodged the bullet, thinking he's turned this nightmare into a win. He steps into the light, the crowd's buzz a shield, his phone buzzing with Apex execs promising action, Vanessa's firing already in motion, and he lets himself breathe, lets himself believe he's clear, that the app, the footage, the lawyer, have pulled him through, when Hargrove's shadow lingers, slipping out a side exit, his glare cutting through the chaos, a promise carved into his scowl, a vow that this isn't over, that he's not done, that Jalen's win is a spark he'll smother with something darker, something worse. Jalen catches it, that look, and his gut twists, because he knows men like Hargrove don't quit, knows the planted drugs were just the start, knows Vanessa's not alone in this, and as he moves through the terminal, the cheers fading into a dull roar, he hears a whisper from behind, Vanessa's voice, low, venomous, speaking to a man in a suit. Her uncle, a deputy chief. Her words lost, but her intent clear. A counterattack brewing. A storm Jalen's victory has only fueled. Because this isn't freedom. It's a cage with wider bars, and the real fight's just begun. Jalen Brooks steps out of O'Hare's underbelly into the terminal's blinding fluorescence. The dank cell's echo still clinging to his skin as the crowd parts. A swell of travelers buzzing like bees around a hive. Their voices a chaotic hum of awe and outrage. Some clapping, others hoisting phones high, lenses glinting as they capture his every move. His faded hoodie now a banner, his steady stride a statement. The red marks on his wrists from Hargrove's cuffs a silent testament to the fight he's just clawed through. A fight that's gone viral, spilling across screens faster than Apex jets crossing the sky. The air crackles with energy, a woman in a green coat shouting, "You showed 'em!" While a teenage kid in a bull's cap pumps his fist, yelling, "Justice, man!" And Jalen feels it, the tide turning, the footage from those shaky bystander clips, the ones Marcus thrust into his hand downstairs, now plastered across X, racking up millions of views. The hashtag, Apex Justice, trending like wildfire, comments flooding in. This is why we need change. That cop's done. Vanessa's toast. A digital roar that's flipped the script, turned him from a cuffed nobody into a hero overnight. A black man who's beaten the system, or so they think. He keeps his face calm, his brown eyes sharp behind the brim of his cap, scanning the faces, the signs, the chaos. Because this isn't just noise, it's power. Power he didn't seek but wields now. Power he's earned through years of outsmarting boardrooms and bigots alike, and he's not letting it slip. Marcus strides beside him, his gray suit a shield, his voice low and urgent. "They're eating this up, Jalen. Use it." And Jalen nods, pulling his phone from his pocket, the screen still warm from the cell, its battery draining from Apex. Execs blowing it up, texts piling in. "We're on it." PR's drafting a statement. "What do you want?" But he doesn't need their scripts, doesn't need their polish. He's got the crowd, the truth, the moment. So he taps into X, his thumbs flying as he types. "Vanessa Reed tore my ticket, accused me of fraud, got me cuffed, all because I'm black. Apex doesn't stand for this. She's fired, effective now." And hits post. The words raw, unfiltered, a live grenade lobbed into the digital storm. The terminal erupts, cheers spiking as phones ping with the update. Travelers refreshing feeds. A guy in a plaid shirt hollering, "She's out!" While a woman with braids nods, muttering, "About damn time." And Jalen feels the weight. Lyft feels control snap back into his hands because this is his airline, his rules. And Vanessa's smug little reign is ash now, her career torched with a single swipe. A victory he snatched from the jaws of that cell, from Hargrove's, cuffs from her shredded ticket, a win that proves he's still the king of this game. He exhales, rolling his shoulders, the tension easing as Marcus claps his back. "You nailed it, man." And Jalen lets himself believe it, lets himself savor the crowd's roar, the viral wave, the justice raining down, thinking he's reclaimed his ground, thinking he's turned Vanessa's hate into his triumph, when his phone buzzes again. Not Apex, not Marcus, but a number he doesn't know. A text flashing across the screen, simple, stark, chilling. A photo of his sister Maya at her diner downtown, her apron smudged with flour, her smile frozen mid-laugh as she pours coffee for a regular. The caption beneath it slicing through his gut. "Watch her back." No signature, no trace, just a threat dangling like a noose. His breath catches, his victory souring in an instant. The terminal's noise fading to a dull throb as he stares at the image. Maya's face, her diner, her life, now a target. And he knows this isn't random, knows it's tied to Vanessa, to Hargrove, to the venom he's just stirred up. Because racism doesn't just slink away, it bites back. And this bite's aimed at his heart. He shoves the phone into his pocket, his jaw tightening, his mind racing as he scans the crowd again, searching for eyes that don't belong, for a shadow that moves wrong. But it's just faces, phones, chaos. No hint of who's behind this. No clue how they got that shot, how they knew where Maya'd be. And his pulse kicks up, a drumbeat of dread. Because he's won the public, sure, but he's lost something else. Something bigger. Something personal. He turns to Marcus, voice low. "Get me to Maya's diner now." And Marcus nods. No questions, just motion, weaving them through the throng, past the cheers, past the cameras, Jalen's legs moving on autopilot, his hoodie suddenly heavy, his wind hollow because this isn't over. It's shifting, twisting into something uglier, something he can't out-tweet or outsmart yet. They hit the escalator, the terminal shrinking below, when a figure steps from a side hall. A man in a crisp suit, silver hair glinting under the lights, his posture stiff, authoritative, his eyes locking on Jalen with a cold, calculating gleam. And Jalen knows that face, knows it from news clips, from police banquets Apex once sponsored, Deputy Chief Ellis, Vanessa's uncle. A man with a badge and a vendetta, his lips curling into a thin, predatory smile as he mutters to a lackey, loud enough for Jalen to catch. Time to teach this uppity owner a lesson. The words a promise, a vow, a signal that the text wasn't a fluke, that this is coordinated, that Vanessa's firings lit a fuse Ellis is ready to detonate. Jalen's stomach drops, his hands flexing at his sides, because this isn't just a disgruntled cop or a racist attendant anymore. It's a network, a machine, a family of hate with power to burn, and Maya's in the crosshairs, his empires. In the crosshairs, everything he's built trembling under a threat he can't see coming. They reach the parking lot, Marcus gunning the engine of his black sedan, tires squealing as they peel out, O'Hare's glass facade shrinking in the rear view. But Jalen's mind's already downtown, already with Maya, already mapping the diners, layout, the exits, the risks, because he's got security on speed dial, got plans to lock her down, got a fight to finish, and he thinks he can protect her, thinks he can shield his family from this storm, thinks this public win's given him the edge to push back. The city blurs past, skyscrapers clawing at a gray sky, horns blaring as Marcus weaves through traffic. Jalen's phone silent now. Too silent, and he clings to that silence, clings to the belief he's ahead, that Ellis's threat is just bluster, that he's still in control. When a second buzz hits, another text, this one a grainy shot of Maya's diner from outside, its neon sign flickering, a timestamp from 10 minutes ago, and a new caption, "Too late." And Jalen's blood runs cold, his victory crumbling, because this isn't a warning anymore, it's a strike, a hit. He didn't dodge, a retaliation that's already in motion, and he's racing toward a nightmare he can't outrun. Marcus glances over. What's wrong? But Jalen can't answer, can't speak, just grips the phone, his knuckles whitening, because the crowd's cheers, the viral wave, Vanessa's firing, all of it's dust now, dust against the reality that his sister's life, his world's under siege, and Ellis isn't playing, isn't bluffing, he's striking. And Jalen's public wins just painted a bigger target, a target he's not sure he can shield, not sure he can beat, not sure he's ready for, as the sedan roars toward downtown, toward Maya, toward a reckoning he's only starting to grasp. Jalen Brooks grips the armrest of Marcus's sedan as it tears through Chicago's downtown streets. The engines growl a frantic pulse under the gray October sky, tires screeching around corners as the skyline looms, jagged and cold, the texts, "Too late," searing his vision. Maya's frozen smile in that photo, a dagger twisting deeper with every block they close. His breath shallow, his hoodie sticking to his back with sweat. Because this isn't about a ticket anymore. Not about Vanessa's smirk or Hargrove's cuffs. It's about his sister, his blood. The one piece of his old life he's sworn to protect since their mom died and their dad walked out, leaving them to scrape by in a South Side apartment with peeling paint and dreams too big for the cracks. Marcus's knuckles whiten on the wheel, his sharp eyes flicking to Jalen. We're 5 minutes out. But 5 minutes feels like 5 years, the city a blur of honking cabs and blinking lights. Jalen's phone clutched in his fist. Silent. Now too silent. a void that screams trouble as they skid onto Roosevelt Road. Maya's diner just ahead, its neon sign a faint pink glow through the haze. A beacon he's racing to, praying he's not too late. The car jolts to a stop, gravel crunching under the tires, and Jalen's out before Marcus kills the engine, his sneakers pounding the pavement, the diner's glass front coming into view. But it's wrong. All wrong. The windows shattered into glittering webs, shards crunching underfoot as he bursts through the door. The bells jingle a mocking chime against the wreckage inside. Tables flipped, chairs splintered, the counter smeared with red spray paint screaming, "Go back to the..." Hood in dripping, jagged letters, a gut punch that stops him cold. Maya's there, alive thank God, standing behind the counter, her apron dusted with flour, her dark curls trembling as she clutches a broom, sweeping glass like it's all she can do to keep from breaking, her brown eyes wide, shaken, but unbroken. And Jalen crosses the room in 3 strides, pulling her into his arms, her frame small against his, her breath hitching as she mutters, "They came fast, Jalen, 10 minutes ago." And he feels her fear, feels his failure, because he wasn't here, couldn't stop this, couldn't shield her from the hate he stirred up with Vanessa's firing, with Ellis's vendetta, with a world that's turned his win into her war zone. He pulls back, scanning her face. "You hurt?" And she shakes her head. "Just scared." But the diner's a battlefield. Coffee pot smashed, the jukebox cracked, a customer's purse torn open in the corner, and Jalen's fury ignites, a slow burn flaring into a blaze, because this is personal, this is Ellis, this is the text come to life, a hit meant to cripple him through her. He steps outside, phone already dialing, barking orders to a security firm he's used for Apex execs. 2 guards, Maya's diner, now 24/7, and they're on it, promising boots on the ground in 30 minutes. Jalen thinking he's locked it down, thinking he's built a wall around her, thinking he's countered Ellis's strike as he helps Maya board up the windows with plywood from the back. Her hands steady despite the tremor in her voice. "I'll be okay." And he believes her. Believes he's got this when a health inspector rolls up, a wiry guy in a cheap suit, clipboard in hand, his pinched face smug as he slaps a closed notice on the door, citing violations Jalen knows are fake, a power play reeking of Ellis's badge, and Jalen's gut sinks, because this isn't random, it's calculated. A second blow he didn't see coming. He argues, "Show me the report," but the inspector shrugs, "File a complaint," and drives off, leaving Jalen staring at the notice. Maya's dream shuddered, his protection failing, when 2 cop cars screech in, lights flashing, officers spilling out, their hands on holsters, shouting, "Maya Brooks, you're under arrest." And Jalen's world tilts. His sister cuffed before he can blink, her wrists twisted behind her back, her gasp sharp as they accuse her of assaulting inspectors. A lie so bold it's laughable, but they're dragging her to the cruiser. Her apron fluttering as she stumbles, and Jalen's shouting, "She didn't touch anyone!" But they don't listen, don't care, just slam the door. Her face pale behind the glass, and he knows this is Ellis. Knows it's retaliation. Knows he's lost her to the same system that cuffed him hours ago. Marcus jumps in. "I'll call the firm." And Jalen's on the phone, cashing in favors, bailing her out in under an hour. Her release a blur of paperwork and glares from cops who don't meet his eyes. But he's not done, not broken. He's furious, driving straight to a local news station, Maya beside him, her jaw set, her voice steady as they go live. "They trashed my diner, shut it down, arrested me. All lies, all because my brother stood up." And Jalen lays it bare. "Deputy Chief Ellis did this. Vanessa's uncle, punishing us for exposing her." The cameras rolling, the anchor's jaw dropping, the story exploding. Footage of the diner's wreckage flashing, public outrage surging. Save Maya's Diner trending as viewers call it out. This is corruption. Ellis is a thug. And Jalen feels the win, feels the tide shift again, feels he's turned this attack into his weapon. Maya safe beside him, security rolling up. As promised, 2 burly guys in black vests taking post outside the diner. And he thinks he's beaten Ellis, thinks he's shielded her, thinks this exposure's caged the beast when his phone pings, a new message. No photo this time, just words. "Your address is live, sleep tight." And his blood freezes, because Ellis isn't done, isn't cowed. He's leaked Jalen's Evanston mansion to a racist militia online. X-posts already lighting up with coordinates, threats, burn it down, teach him. And Jalen's victory sours. Maya's safety a fleeting illusion, because this isn't a win, it's a spark. And Ellis is pouring gasoline. A counterstrike Jalen can't outrun, can't outtalk, can't stop yet. His family under fire, his empire trembling, and the real war roaring closer with every tick of the clock. Who's with Jalen on this one? Should Ellis pay for dragging Maya into this mess? Drop a comment number 1 if you say yes, or a 2 if you think he's untouchable, and hit that like button if Jalen's fights got your heart racing. Then subscribe to see how he battles back from this gut punch. Has he locked Maya down tight enough? Or is Ellis's next move already checkmate? Stay tuned. What's waiting for Jalen at home when the militia's boots hit his doorstep? Jalen Brooks races through the twilight streets of Evanston, the sedan's headlights slicing through the thickening dusk as Marcus floors it. The engines roar, a desperate counterpoint to the silence gripping Jalen's chest. His phone still, clutched in his hand. The screens glow dimming, but the words, "Your address is live," sleep tight, burning bright. A threat from Deputy Chief Ellis that's no longer a whisper but a scream. The X-posts he's glimpsed on the drive confirming it. A racist militia crowing. Got his mansion. Let's roll. Their coordinates pinning his home like a bullseye. And Jalen's mind churns, plotting exits, defenses. Because this isn't just about Maya anymore. It's about everything. His sanctuary, his fortress, the sprawling brick estate he built from Apex's profits. A symbol of triumph. Now a target. For hate he's stirred by firing Vanessa, by exposing Ellis, by daring to stand tall. The tires squeal as they turn onto his street, a quiet stretch of manicured lawns and wrought iron gates. But it's wrong, all wrong. The night alive with shadows that don't belong. Pickup trucks lining the curb, their engines idling, exhaust curling into the air, and Jalen spots them, masked figures spilling out, at least a dozen. Their silhouettes jagged against the streetlights, gloved hands clutching bottles, bats, a glint of metal that could be guns, their boots stomping the asphalt as they swarm his driveway, a pack of wolves circling prey. Marcus slams the brakes. "Jalen, we got a call." But Jalen's already out, his sneakers hitting the ground, his breath fogging in the chill as he sprints toward the house. The security system's app buzzing on his phone, alerts flashing, perimeter breach, front gate. And he sees it, the iron bars pried open, the lawn torn up, and then the first Molotov cocktail arcs through the air, a fiery comet smashing against his oak front door, flames licking up the wood, glass shattering, as another bottle crashes through a window, the roar of fire swallowing the night's quiet, a hellscape unfolding in seconds. Jalen ducks low, heat searing his face as he bolts for a side path, a hidden route he carved into the landscaping years ago, his hoodie snagging on thorns as he weaves through shrubs, the militia's shouts ringing out, "Burn it! Burn him out!" Their voices thick with glee, a chorus of hate he's heard in slurs and stares his whole life. But never like this. Never this raw, this close, this real, and his heart pounds, not with fear but with a fury he can't leash. Because this is his home, his ground, and they're torching it like it's nothing, like he's nothing. He reaches a basement hatch, a steel slab camouflaged by ivy, wrenching it open with trembling hands, slipping inside as smoke billows above. The cool dark, a brief shield as he crouches, pulling up the app again, jabbing the panic button that dials 911, his voice low, urgent. "Mansion on Sheridan Road, fire, armed attackers now." And the dispatcher's units en route crackles back. But it's slow, too slow. The sirens distant as the ceiling creaks, flames chewing through the floors above, and Jalen knows the cops won't make it. Not fast enough, not with Ellis. Pulling strings, so he moves, crawling through the basement, past shelves of old flight manuals and Apex prototypes, toward a back stairwell, a secret exit he installed after a break-in scare years ago. His breath ragged, but his mind sharp, because he's not dying here, not tonight, not like this. He emerges behind the garage, the night air thick with ash, the militia's shadows dancing in the firelight as they lob another bottle, the guest wing erupting in a burst of orange. And Jalen sprints, legs pumping, ducking behind a stone wall as a pickup peels out, tires screeching, the attackers scattering, thinking they've won, thinking he's trapped. When sirens finally wail closer, red and blue lights flashing through the trees, too late to stop the blaze, but in time to catch the tail end. 3. Stragglers still swinging bats, their masks slipping as cops swarm, cuffs snapping, shouts of "drop it," cutting through the chaos. Jalen stumbles forward, coughing smoke, his hoodie singed, his eyes stinging as firefighters roll in, hoses blasting, water hissing against the inferno, and the mansion holds, barely, the brick skeleton standing, charred but defiant, a mirror of Jalen himself as he watches, chest heaving, the arrested trio glaring from the squad car, their eyes promising more, promising worse. He gives his statement, voice hoarse. "They came for me, militia. Check X. Ellis leaked the address." And the lead cop nods, scribbling. The arrested men identified by grainy footage from a neighbor's ring cam, their faces plastered online. Within hours, caught red-handed. Justice for Jalen. The public roaring again. Apex trending. His survival a rallying cry. And he thinks he's safe. Thinks the arrests have clipped Ellis's wings. Thinks he's turned this horror into another win. When a detective pulls him aside, a wiry guy with tired eyes muttering, "They're saying you paid them, sir, to stage it. Publicity stunt." And Jalen's blood runs cold, because it's not just a lie. It's a masterstroke. Ellis's counterattack, forged bank records hitting the news as they speak. Brooks wired 10 grand. All fake. Headlines screaming fraud. National TV latching on. Pundits sneering. He's playing victim, and Jalen's victory collapses. The crowd's cheers turning to jeers, his mansion smoldering, his name smeared. Because Ellis isn't running, isn't hiding, he's hitting harder, twisting the knife, and Jalen's not safe, not free. Just a man on a burning tightrope. The militia's retreat a feint, the arrests a setup, and the real blow landing square on his chest as the detective's radio crackles. Chief's orders. Look into it. A signal Ellis's reach is deeper, darker, deadlier than Jalen ever feared. Jalen Brooks stands amid the smoldering ruins of his Evanston mansion, the acrid tang of charred wood stinging his lungs as dawn breaks over the skeletal remains. Firefighters coiling hoses in the gray light, their shouts muffled by the buzz of news vans clogging Sheridan Road, satellite dishes sprouting like weeds, reporters jostling for angles, their cameras trained on him, his singed hoodie and soot-streaked face a stark silhouette against the wreckage, the red marks on his wrists from yesterday's cuffs now joined by fresh burns, a map of a night he survived but not won, because the headlines blaring from every screen twist his gut harder than the flames ever could. Apex owner faked attack. Brooks paid militia. Publicity stunt exposed. Lies spun from Ellis's forged bank records. Lies that have flipped the script overnight, turning him from a hero into a fraud. The public's cheers souring into a chorus of disgust he can feel through the asphalt, through the air, through the venomous X posts flooding his phone. Liar. Con man. Deserves it. A digital lynch mob tearing him apart faster than the militia's Molotovs ever did. He clenches his fists, the phone's edges digging into his palm as Marcus paces beside him. His gray suit rumpled from a sleepless night. His voice tight. "This is bullshit, Jalen. We've got proof." And Jalen nods, because he does. He's got the security cam footage from the mansion, crystal clear, time-stamped, showing masked figures torching his home. No handshake, no payoff, just raw hate. And he's got the ring cam clips from the neighbor, the arrests, the militia's own. X boasts. All of it a lifeline he's about to throw into this storm because he's not sinking. Not yet. Not like this. He calls a press conference right there on the lawn, the grass still wet from hoses, the air thick with ash, news crews scrambling as he steps up. No podium, no notes, just him, his voice steady, hoarse from smoke but unyielding. "Last night, a militia attacked my home, set it on fire, because I fired Vanessa Reed, because I exposed Deputy Chief Ellis. This wasn't staged, here's the proof." And he holds up a tablet, Marcus streaming the footage live, the crowd gasping as flames leap across the screen. Shadows swinging bats, bottles shattering, no trace of a deal, just violence, raw and real. His words cutting through the chaos. "They're framing me, forging records. Check the cams. Check the truth." And the reporters blink, stunned. Pencils, pausing, cameras zooming as X lights up again, the tide shifting. He's right. Look at that. Ellis lied. A wave of doubt crashing over the smear campaign. Jalen feeling the ground firm up beneath him, thinking he's turned it. Thinking he's won them back, when the arrested militia boys start talking, their voices crackling over a breaking news feed. Brooks paid us, 10 grand each, wanted the headlines. A script so rehearsed it's laughable, but the pundits bite, the TV screen splitting, his footage on one side, their lies on the other, and Jalen's chest tightens, because it's working. Ellis's play is working, the public splitting, half cheering, half sneering. His name a battlefield again. He pushes harder, Marcus digging up bank logs, pristine, no wires, no 10 grand, handing them to a local anchor live. Check the dates, check the fakes. And the anchor nods, flustered. We'll verify. As the militia's trio get charged, arraigned, their bail set high, the cams proving they're liars. The public flipping again. He's clean. Ellis set this up. Apex trending for the right reasons. Jalen's reputation clawing back, his breath easing, his shoulders squaring. Because he's beaten. He's outsmarted the frame-up. He's safe, or so he thinks. When a new shadow slinks onto the scene. Vanessa Reed, her blonde hair sleek, her navy blazer traded for a red dress, stepping onto a right-wing cable set, her face plastered across every channel. I'm Vanessa, the flight attendant he fired, and I'm here to tell all. Her voice syrupy, venomous, a smirk curling her lips as she leans into the mic. Jalen, Brooks threatened my life before he canned me, said he'd ruin me if I didn't bow. He's a bully, a thug. And Jalen freezes, the tablet slipping in his grip. Because this isn't just a lie. It's a nuke. A story so wild it's believable. Her tears welling on cue, the host nodding. Shocking. And X explodes again. Death threats pouring in. Kill him. He's done. Monster. A tsunami of hate drowning his win. Protesters massing at Apex hubs. O'Hare, LAX, Atlanta signs screaming boycott Brooks, fire the fraud. And Jalen's stomach drops, his victory ash in his mouth. Because Vanessa's not gone, she's back. Sharper, deadlier. Ellis's puppet turned puppet master, and she's not. Just smearing him, she's burying him. He watches, numb, as the news loops her tell-all. Her lies spreading like wildfire. Apex stocks dipping. Passengers canceling flights. The board texting. Meeting now. And he knows this isn't random. Knows Ellis is behind her. Knows this is the counterattack, the real one. The one that hits where the cams can't save him. Where the truth's too slow. Where the crowd's too loud. And he's not safe. Not winning. Just dangling over a pit he can't climb out of yet. Marcus grabs his arm. We'll sue defamation, we've got this. But Jalen's not sure. Not anymore, because the threats aren't just words, they're real. A brick through Maya's diner window last night. A voicemail on his phone this morning. You're next. And he feels the walls closing, the media a noose tightening. Vanessa's red dress a flag of war. Ellis grinning from the shadows, because this isn't a stumble, it's a shove off a cliff. And Jalen's falling, his empire trembling, his fight faltering as the news ticker scrolls. Brooks faces new allegations. And the protesters chant louder, their voices a hammer pounding his name into dust. A public execution he can't stop. Not yet. Not with Vanessa's lies ringing. Not with Ellis's reach strangling. Not with the world turning, fast and fierce, against the man who thought he'd won. Jalen Brooks sits in the Apex Airlines boardroom, a glass-walled fortress atop a Chicago skyscraper. The city's jagged skyline sprawling beyond the windows. A cold October rain streaking the panes as he faces a dozen suits around a mahogany table, their faces tight, ties loosened, laptops glowing with plummeting stock charts, the air thick with tension. His singed hoodie swapped for a crisp black blazer, but the soot of last night's fire still clings to his skin. A gritty reminder of the militia's attack, Vanessa's lies, Ellis's war, and now this. A company teetering on the edge, protesters chanting below, boycott Brooks. Their voices a dull roar through the glass, death threats piling up. On his phone, you're dead. Step down. A digital guillotine he's dodging with every breath because Vanessa's tell-all has lit a fuse, and the board's eyes say it's his fault, his fight, his mess. He slams a fist on the table, the thud silencing their murmurs. "We're not folding, not to her, not to Ellis. I'm cleaning house." His voice raw, steady, a blade cutting through their doubt, and he points to 3 execs, Vanessa's allies, moles who've leaked schedules, fed her dirt, their faces paling as he lays it out. "You're out now," pulling up emails Marcus dug up overnight, proof they've sabotaged him from within, and the board votes, swift, unanimous, their chairs scraping as security escorts the traitors out, their protests drowned by the rain's drumbeat. Jalen feeling the rain snap back, Apex his again, stocks ticking up as news hits. Brooks purges, bored, a win he grips tight, thinking he's stanched the bleed, thinking he's turned the tide. Flights resume, O'Hare's runways buzzing, passengers trickling back, the boycott faltering, and he exhales, leaning into his chair, the leather cool against his back. Marcus nodding across the table. "We're stabilizing," and Jalen believes he's outmaneuvered Vanessa's venom, Ellis's reach. When the lights flicker, screens go dark, a low hum dying as the room plunges into silence. The city's pulse beyond the windows unbroken, but Apex is stilled. And his phone pings, an alert from ops, all systems down nationwide, planes grounding from coast to coast, passengers stranded, losses spiking into millions, a cyber attack so precise it's surgical, and Jalen's gut twists because this isn't random, it's Ellis, it's revenge, a strike he didn't see, didn't block, hitting where it hurts most, his empire's heart. He bolts to the IT floor, a warren of blinking servers and frantic techs, their keyboards clattering as they trace the hack, Jalen barking, "Find it now!" And they do, a digital fingerprint pointing to a server linked to the Chicago PD, Ellis's domain, a move so bold it's insane. And Jalen seizes it, calling a live TV crew to the office, cameras rolling as he stands amid the chaos. "Deputy Chief Ellis hacked Apex, grounded our planes, here's the proof." Screens behind him flashing code, timestamps, a public gut punch that lands, X erupting. Ellis is done. Save Apex. The feds swooping in, raiding Ellis's office by noon, cuffs snapping on the deputy chief, his silver hair glinting as he's hauled out, snarling, "You'll pay." But Jalen's not listening, not trembling. He's winning, stocks surging, planes taxiing again, passengers cheering, thinking he's crushed it, thinking Ellis's arrest is the end. When Vanessa resurfaces, her red dress swapped for a gray suit, filing a lawsuit in a packed press room. "Apex discriminated against me, fired me for being white. I'm suing for 50 million. Her voice sharp, her tears gone. A new angle so absurd it's brilliant. And Jalen's jaw drops, the boardroom freezing, because this isn't over. It's escalating. Her lie reigniting the racist backlash. Ex-posts flipping, reverse racism. Brooks hates whites, protests swelling again, bigger, angrier. A second wave he can't outrun, Ellis smirking from a jail cell. Because this was the plan, the real hit. Vanessa's suit a dagger to Apex's throat, and Jalen's win, his control, his empire's pulse faltering under a storm he can't stop. Yet, not with the world watching, not with the stakes soaring, not with Vanessa's gambit turning his victory into ash once more. Hey, what's your take? Does Vanessa's lawsuit hold any water? Or is it just desperate nonsense? Drop a comment number 1 if you think she's got no shot, or a 2 if you reckon she's playing a smarter game than we think. And smash that like button if Jalen's relentless fight's keeping you glued. Then subscribe to catch how he battles this insane twist. Has he finally clipped Ellis's wings? Or is Vanessa's suit the knockout punch he can't dodge? Buckle up. What's next when the courtroom doors swing open? Jalen Brooks strides into the Cook County Courthouse, a towering slab of stone and glass in downtown Chicago. The October air biting through his black suit as he climbs the steps. His shoulders squared, his jaw set. The weight of Vanessa Reed's $50 million lawsuit pressing down like a storm cloud. Her claim of discrimination, a twisted mirror of the racism he's battled since Vanessa tore his ticket, since Ellis torched his world. And now, 2 weeks after the hack that grounded Apex, he's here to bury her lies. His legal team flanking him. Marcus at his side, their briefcases stuffed with evidence, witnesses, everything to shred her case. Because this isn't just about money, it's about survival. His empire, his name, his fight against a hate that won't quit. The courtroom buzzes. A packed gallery of reporters, Apex staff, gawkers. There whispers a low hum as Jalen takes his seat. Vanessa across the aisle, her gray suit crisp, her blonde hair pinned tight, her face a mask of fake calm. No tears today, just a smirk flickering as she leans to her lawyer, a slick guy in pinstripes who reeks of Ellis's payroll. And Jalen knows this is their endgame, a public stage to twist his win into defeat, to paint him as the villain, the black man who dared fire a white woman for her hate. The judge, a stern woman with steel gray curls, bangs her gavel, the crack silencing the room, and Jalen's team dives in. Relentless, Marcus calling the gate agent who saw Vanessa rip the ticket, her voice steady. She didn't check it, just tore it, assumed he didn't belong. Then the security guard from O'Hare, wiry and nervous. She called him a fraud, no proof. Then the footage, crystal clear, rolling on a screen. Vanessa's sneer, the tear, the cuffs, a timeline that guts her story. No threats, no bullying, just her bigotry laid bare. And Jalen watches her squirm, her lawyer scrambling, objections overruled as the judge's eyes narrow, the evidence piling up like bricks in a wall she can't climb. Vanessa takes the stand, her voice smooth, practiced. He said he'd ruin me, make me disappear. But Jalen's team pounces, cross-examining with surgical precision. Where's the proof? No calls, no texts, no witnesses. And she stammers, I felt it. A flimsy lie that cracks under scrutiny, Marcus slamming down her ex-posts from weeks ago. Proud to serve first class, not frauds. Her own words damning her, the gallery gasping, reporters scribbling. And Jalen feels it, the wind building, the truth cutting through her charade because she's got nothing, just desperation, just Ellis's puppet strings, and he's snapping them one by one. The judge halts proceedings, deliberating, and Jalen waits, his pulse steady, his suit crisp despite the sweat on his brow. Marcus muttering, "We've got her." And when the gavel falls again, it's over. Case dismissed, perjury charges, recommended. Vanessa fined 10 grand, her face crumpling, her lawyer slumping, the gallery erupting, Apex staff cheering, Jalen standing tall, triumphant, the lawsuit dead, his name cleared, his empire safe, or so he thinks, as he steps out, cameras flashing, reporters shouting, "Mr. Brooks, a statement," and he nods. Justice won today. His voice firm, a king reclaiming his throne, thinking he's crushed Vanessa, thinking Ellis's arrest has neutered the beast, when the courthouse doors swing wide, and chaos explodes, a riot surging from the steps, a mob of racists 50 strong, their faces twisted, signs screaming white rights, Brooks lies, a backlash Vanessa's suit has fueled. And Jalen's security, 2 guards from the diner detail, push forward, too late, too few, as the crowd charges, fists flying, a bat swinging, cracking, his arm, pain exploding white hot, his bone fracturing as he stumbles, blood trickling down his sleeve, the guards tackling 2 attackers, bystanders screaming, pulling him back. But the cops, a dozen on the scene, stand frozen, their radios crackling, their eyes averted. A deliberate stall Jalen knows reeks of Ellis's badge even from a cell, and he's down, asphalt biting his knees, punches landing, ribs bruising, until a stranger, a burly guy in a flannel shirt, hauls him up. "I got you, man," and drags him through. The mob thinning, cops finally moving. Too slow, too staged, as Jalen collapses against a pillar, arm limp, chest heaving, blood smearing his suit. Alive but battered. The guards cuffing 3 rioters, the rest scattering, and he sees it, Ellis's smirk on a news cam across the street, live from lockup. He'll get what's coming, a vow that chills Jalen's spine, because this isn't defeat, it's defiance, a counterattack from behind bars. Vanessa's loss a spark, the riot a hammer, and Jalen's win a hollow shell, his arm throbbing, his empire intact but his body broken. The crowd's cheers fading into a haunting echo as he realizes justice bends for the powerful, bends for Ellis, bends away from him. And this fight, this crucible, has only sharpened the blade aimed at his throat. Jalen Brooks slumps in a sterile Evanston hospital room, the beep of a heart monitor punctuating the silence, his fractured arm slung in a cast, the dull ache pulsing through his ribs where the riot's fists landed, his black suit swapped for A thin gown, the courthouse steps' bloodstains still vivid in his mind. Vanessa's lawsuit dead, but her hate alive. Ellis's smirk from lockup, a taunt that gnaws at him. Because the cops stall, the mobs rage, the systems bend, all scream one truth. This fight's not won, not even close. And he's done. Playing defense, done waiting for the next blow. His empire intact, but his body broken. His sister's diner shuttered, his home charred. And he's had enough. Enough of Ellis's strings. Enough of Vanessa's venom. Enough of a world that keeps swinging when he's already down. Marcus sits beside him, his gray suit wrinkled, his bald head gleaming under the fluorescent glare. "You're a tank, Jalen, but this ain't sustainable." And Jalen nods, his jaw tight, his good hand flexing, because he's not broken. Not fully. Not yet. His mind a steel trap, plotting, shifting, and he mutters, "We're going rogue." His voice low, steady, a spark igniting as he pulls his phone from the bedside table, the screen cracked but alive. Dialing a number he's kept buried, a hacker crew from his Southside days. Kids he mentored who've gone dark web, their skills sharp, their loyalty unshaken. And the line clicks, a voice rasping, "Jalen, been a while." And he lays it out. "Ellis, Deputy Chief, I need dirt deep, now." No hesitation, no negotiation, just a command. Because he's not asking, he's striking. Striking where the law won't, where the cams can't, where Ellis thinks he's safe. The hackers move fast, their digital tendrils snaking through police servers, bank accounts, encrypted chats. Jalen pacing the room, his cast a heavy anchor, the hospital's antiseptic sting fading as his phone pings, files flooding in, audio clips, grainy but gold, Ellis's voice snarling, "Pay the boys, trash his house, frame him, drugs, whatever sticks," laced with slurs, bribes to cops, militia meetups, a corruption tapestry so thick it's a noose. And Jalen's lips curl, not a smile, a grimace, because this is it. This is the kill shot. Ellis's own words, his own filth. A weapon Jalen's wielding from a hospital bed. Bandaged but unbowed. He goes underground. No press, no apex, just him and Marcus, leaking the tapes anonymously to every news outlet, every X account. A viral bomb detonating at dawn, the clips blasting across screens. Ellis exposed, corrupt cop caught, the public roaring, protests flipping. Not against Jalen now, against the badge, against the system. Chicago PD reeling, feds swooping in deeper. Ellis's career imploding, his indictment stacking, bribery, extortion, hate crimes, a rap sheet that buries him and Jalen watches. His hospital window framing a city waking to his counterstrike, thinking he's turned it, thinking he's caged the beast, thinking this underground play's won the war. When a new shadow looms, Vanessa's ally, Senator Paul Grayson, a silver-haired titan in a tailored suit, stepping onto a podium in Springfield, his voice booming. "Apex Airlines threatens public safety. I'm pushing a bill. Audits. Fines. Shut them down." A legislative sledgehammer aimed at Jalen's throat. And Jalen's gut sinks because this isn't coincidence. It's coordination. Ellis's arrest a spark. Grayson's bill the flame. Vanessa whispering in his ear. A new front opening as protesters storm Apex's loop office. Glass shattering. Desks overturned. "Close it down. Brooks out." A mob fueled by Grayson's lies. And Jalen's victory unravels. His tape's a fleeting win. Because this isn't over. It's bigger. Uglier. A counterattack from a cell to a Senate floor. And he's bandaged, battered, but not beaten. Not yet. Not with Apex trembling. Not with Grayson's bill racing through committees. Not with Vanessa's shadow stretching longer. Deadlier. A fight he's still in, still swinging, but barely. As the hospital walls close in, the city's chaos, a mirror of his own. Jalen Brooks sits propped in his Evanston hospital bed. The sterile white walls a stark contrast to the chaos beyond. His fractured arm throbbing under the cast. His ribs aching with every breath. The hacker tape still echoing in his ears. Ellis's. Snarls of victory he's clung to as Senator Grayson's safety audits bill looms like a guillotine over Apex Airlines. Protesters trashing his loop office, glass crunching under their boots. Ex-posts raging, "Shut it down." Brooks is a menace, A tidal wave of hate Vanessa's fueled. Ellis's legacy from a cell, and Jalen's empire teetering. Stocks plunging, passengers bailing, his board texting, "We're bleeding," but he's not done, not broken. His mind a furnace, forging a plan. Because he's climbed from Southside rubble to skyscrapers, and he's not losing it all to a senator's pen or a racist grudge. He calls Marcus from the bed, voice hoarse but steady. "Get me airtime, live now." And Marcus moves, pulling strings, a news van rolling up within hours, cameras streaming from the hospital lot. Jalen standing, gown swapped for a black hoodie, cast stark against the fabric, his face bruised but unbowed as he speaks. Grayson's bill is a lie, tied to Ellis, tied to hate. Here's the proof. His phone synced to the feed, hacked chats flashing, Grayson to Ellis. "Push the narrative, I'll bury Apex." A bombshell that lands, X erupting, Grayson's dirty. Save Apex, viewers gasping, senators backpedaling, the bill stalling in committee as Jalen's voice cuts deeper. "We're not crashing, we're rising." And the tide turns, stocks soaring, passengers booking, Apex hubs buzzing again, O'Hare's runways alive. The board texting, "You're a genius," and Jalen's the comeback king. His empire snatched from the brink, a win he feels in his bones, thinking he's killed the bill, thinking Ellis's reach is severed, thinking he's safe when he leaves the hospital days later, arms still slung, ribs taped, driving his own SUV down Lakeshore Drive, the city's lights glinting off the water. A rare moment of calm until headlights flare in his rear view. Too close, too fast. A black truck ramming his bumper. Metal crunching, glass spiderwebbing as he swerves, tires screaming, heart slamming. Because this isn't an accident. It's an ambush. Gunmen leaning from the truck, muzzles flashing, bullets pinging off his hood, shattering his windshield. And Jalen floors it, weaving through traffic, horns blaring, the truck gaining, a second joining, boxing him in, and he knows it's Ellis, knows it's the you'll pay from lockup. A hit ordered from a cell, relentless, ruthless, deadlier than the mansion fire, the riot, anything before. He jerks the wheel, clipping a guardrail, sparks flying, his cast slamming the dash, pain searing. But he's alive, thinking fast, spotting a ditch off the road, a narrow escape, and he guns it, the SUV lurching, plunging down the embankment, bushes snapping, metal groaning as he crashes through, the truck skidding above, too big to follow, and Jalen's shaking, blood trickling from a cut on his brow, glass in his lap, but breathing, surviving, the gunman peeling off as sirens wail. Late again, cops rolling up, their flashlights sweeping, pulling him out. "You okay?" And he nods, dazed, alive, because he's dodged it barely, by inches. His SUV totaled, his body battered, but his spirit intact, and they nab the shooters blocks away. Two militia grunts, their phones buzzing with texts. Ellis says finish it. A link so clear the feds pounce, rearresting Ellis, piling charges, attempted murder now, his cell shrinking, his smirk fading, and Jalen stands, leaning on a cop car, the lake's wind cold on his face, thinking he's won, thinking he's broken them, when his phone buzzes, a voicemail, no number, a voice he doesn't know, low, chilling. "You'll never stop us." And his blood freezes, because this isn't the end. It's a warning, a shadow beyond Ellis, beyond Vanessa, a deeper hate, a bigger fight, and his empire's back, his crown reclaimed, but the brink's still there, closer, sharper, deadlier. As the sirens fade, the night swallows him, and the war rages on. Jalen Brooks limps into a gleaming ballroom at the Drake Hotel, the Chicago skyline glittering beyond the chandeliers, his fractured arm still in a cast, his ribs tender under a tailored black tux. The Lakeshore Drive ambush a week behind him, bullet holes in his SUV a fading scar as he steps into an Apex Airlines gala. A night to reclaim his crown, the air thick with champagne and applause. 200 guests, staff, donors, all rising as he enters, their cheers a wave crashing over the wreckage of Vanessa's lies. Ellis's hits, the militia's fire, a victory he's clawed from the brink, his empire soaring, stocks at all-time highs, passengers flocking back, O'Hare buzzing, Apex unshaken by Grayson's dead bill, Ellis's new charges, a king standing tall after a war that's left him bruised but unbroken, his brown eyes sharp, his smile tight, because he's not just surviving, he's thriving, turning pain into power, announcing millions in donations to anti-racism groups. We fight hate with hope. His voice booming over the mic, the crowd roaring, X lighting up. Jalen's a legend. Apex forever, a tide he rides, thinking he's crushed it, thinking the voicemails "You'll never stop us" was empty, thinking he's safe when he spots her across the room, Camille Tate, his VP, a black woman in her 50s, sharp in a silver gown, her braids coiled high, her smile warm as she raises a glass. His rock through this storm. Marcus's sister, the one who's held Apex's reins when he was cuffed, burned, shot at, a sister in arms he trusts with his life, and he relaxes, just for a second, letting the night wash over him. The music swelling, the city's pulse syncing with his own. A rare breath of peace after months of hell. He mingles, shaking hands, donors pledging more, staff beaming, Apex's logo glowing on screens, a phoenix rising, and he feels it, the weight lifting, the war won. Maya's diner reopening next week, security tripled, his mansion rebuilding, brick by brick, a life stitched back from tatters, and he thinks he's made it, thinks he's outrun the hate. When a whistleblower slips through the crowd, a wiry guy in a cheap suit, his eyes darting, whispering to a reporter, then louder, "I've got proof, it's all a lie," and Jalen turns. Curious, not alarmed. Not yet. As the guy steps to a mic, uninvited. Camille Tate ran it. The attacks, the fire, the hit. With Ellis, to take Apex. And the room freezes, glasses clinking to a stop. Breaths held, Jalen's chest tightening, because this can't be, won't be. But the whistleblower's shaking, pulling a recorder, pressing play, Camille's voice crackling. "Ellis, burn it. I'll handle the board. He's out. I'm in." A deal to seize his throne, to break him, to own what he built, and Jalen's world tilts, his cast heavy, his ribs screaming because it's her, his VP, his ally, his friend, the one he trusted when Vanessa struck, when Ellis burned, when bullets flew, and she's the shadow, the voice, the us he couldn't stop. The crowd gasps, phones rising, filming as security grabs the whistleblower, but he's shouting, "Check the files," her laptop, and feds swarm in, tipped off, seizing Camille's bag, her screen glowing with emails, texts. Ellis gets 30%. I get Apex. A plot so deep it cuts Jalen's soul, deeper than Vanessa's ticket tear. Ellis's cuffs, the malicious flames. Because this isn't racism, it's betrayal. Personal, cold, a knife from within, and Camille's face pales, her silver gown glinting as she stumbles. "Jalen, But he's not listening, not moving, just staring, his eyes steel, his voice gone, as cops cuff her, her braids swaying, her confession spilling live. I wanted it, all of it, broadcast to millions, X exploding, Camille's the snake. Jalen betrayed, the gala shattering, guests fleeing, reporters swarming, and Jalen stands, gutted, the cheers fading, his empire, intact but his trust ash because he's won the war, beaten Vanessa, Ellis, Grayson, the militia, but lost her, lost the one he leaned on, a reversal that rips deeper than any bullet, any fire, any slur, and he vows, silent, steady, I fight on, but the crowd's roar dies, a haunting hush settling, a question lingering, in the air. Who can he trust now as the lights dim? The city watches, and the war somehow isn't over. Not yet, not ever. Jalen Brooks's journey in this story is a raw, unflinching look at resilience against systemic racism and betrayal. The first lesson is the power of perseverance. Jalen faced relentless attacks, ticket torn, home burned, ambushed, yet stood tall, turning public outrage into a weapon against his foes. It's a reminder that strength isn't just surviving, it's fighting back when the odds stack high. Second, trust is a double-edged sword. Camille's betrayal, a twist sharper than any racist jab, teaches that enemies can hide in allies, clothing, demanding vigilance even in victory. Third, systemic hate bends but doesn't break easily. Ellis's reach from a cell, Vanessa's lies, Grayson's bills show how racism morphs, striking through institutions, mobs, and media. A beast. Jalen could only wound, not kill. Fourth, truth is a lifeline. Footage, tapes, leaks saved Jalen repeatedly, proving evidence can shift tides when voices fail. Finally, triumph is bittersweet. Jalen rebuilt Apex, donated millions, but lost trust. A scar deeper than his fractured arm, showing that winning battles doesn't heal all wounds. This story screams that fighting injustice takes grit, smarts, and a willingness to lose pieces of yourself along the way. So what's your takeaway? How far would you go to protect what's yours against hate's endless waves? Drop a comment with your thoughts. Hit like if Jalen's grit fired you up. Subscribe for more real talk tales, and share to spark this convo wider. Thanks for riding this roller coaster with us. Here's to courage, truth, and never backing down.